go. There we go. Okay, everybody, welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much for attending. And it's going to be awesome because you guys are here and I've got a couple giveaways for you as well. So it's going to be fun. So, alrighty. I want to go ahead and share my screen. I have some great slides for you. So hopefully you are all set. Oops, hang on. There we go. All set, cozy, and you have got something fun to drink. I think that is always making things right nicer in the evening. So there we go. Okay, can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see the slides on the screen? This is kind of a new thing for me. So hopefully you guys can see those slides. All right, perfect. I have a thumbs up. All right, great. Okay, so welcome. I'm going to go ahead and see. I don't know if I can keep the chat open as I'm presenting, but let me see. Okay, I think I've got it here. So, okay, you guys are giving me thumbs up in the chat. Thank you. Welcome. I'm Susan Hyde, and we are going to talk about rhythms of a peaceful home, 5 tidy home secrets, but then also your plan for progress in 2025. Because honestly, I've been sharing the last couple weeks, I am not a New Year's resolution person because maybe you are like this too. And if you are, yes, give me a heart because you're my people in the chat. If you have made New Year's resolutions before, and then within like 3 weeks, you are not successful. And so you throw in the towel and then you're just kind of like, whatever. And those don't serve us very well. And so I really am a proponent of small intentional habits that you can build upon so that they actually stick. So I love, and we're going to touch on that at the end here on how you can put some of the I guess the habits, the strategies that I have used through the years into your life to actually build those habits. So, all right, I can't find my Zoom is there we go. I think I'm going to hide this button. So then there we go. Sorry, you guys. You guys get Susan the amateur, always learning new things, right? So at least we are all here together. So a little bit about my story. You may be new here, or maybe you have been somebody that's followed me for years. And I am one of the OG bloggers. So I started a blog back, oh gosh, 16 years ago when I had become a parent coach. I needed to start a blog in order to start sharing parenting information and getting clients. And so that has led me to this place over 16 years where I really have found a passion for helping homemakers really lean in to the gifts that they've been given in order to create a nurturing and peaceful place for their families. It really is something that it lights me up. If you can't tell, if you've been following me. I mean, it really does, is something that I'm really passionate about. But some of the things that came up for me, and you may resonate as well, is that I had a great role model. My mom was great. She stayed home a good portion of the time that I was growing up. However, I don't really remember learning a lot of the things that I then took away when I moved away from home. So I kind of was floundering a little bit. But what I really thought, or what I really found was in that season where I began to coach other moms because they would come to me with parenting issues with their kids, what we found was that it really was that the house lacked any kind of structure. There was a lot of chaos. And what happens when we have chaos, right? Nobody really can function. It's really hard to focus. It's really hard for that nervous system, to be settled. And so it was clear to me that there was a bigger issue. So even after that period of time where I resonated or where I saw that, and it really resonated with me that there needed to be some, I guess, instruction, some guidance in that area, that's kind of where things really blossomed and where my planner kind of was born and really helping homemakers come up with some standard operating procedures. So here on the slide, it says I wanted to manage my home well, but I wasn't really sure where to start. And that's what I have found, especially in the last like 4 or 5 years. That's where many women are because we just didn't have a role model. We didn't learn it in school. And so where are you supposed to, find these skills? I know a lot of people said they have been looking on YouTube to learn how to clean their house or manage their home. And so kudos for you for searching out ways to learn, right? One of the things that I will admit is that even after the period where I had made my weekly household planner and been using it in my home, I actually drifted away from that and thought I was too busy and I hired a house cleaner. But what I found was that I really felt disconnected from my house. I really wasn't sure what was getting done. I didn't know the status of certain areas and it made me really uneasy. So that's not to say that if you are in a season where that is something that are helping, having in your home to help in certain areas, it's no judgment. I'm just sharing my story that I spent thousands on hiring a house cleaner that I thought was helping me, but in the end, it really didn't help me. It made me feel even more disconnected from my home. And so it really was a season of learning, how can I do some of these tasks in the home in a way that will support myself, support my family, and help me feel connected and that, I knew the status of my home. And so maybe that resonates with you, maybe it doesn't, but that's just a little bit of my story. So why am I sharing this information? Because I think there's always things that we can learn, right? I'm even learning. And so I hope that every time, maybe I pop up on Instagram or, you come to my stories or, come to a masterclass that I'm sharing for free, that you will go away with some little tidbit that you can put into action. So I am going to share tonight 5 simple secrets that really have shifted my home from chaos to calm. And I want you to have the same experience. And it's been encouraging even today, day one, that people have, begun using their household planner because we start on a Monday this year in the planner, got a nice facelift. That people were so encouraged. They were messaging me saying, "Oh my gosh, I completed the things. I feel successful. I didn't have to waste a bunch of time thinking about what needed attention." And that is truly the goal. So let's start off here and sorry, let me get a sip here. Let me go ahead. So we do not want you to be overwhelmed, right? And I think that is the state where most people find themselves. You get really overwhelmed because the decision fatigue is real, right? Maybe you guys can comment here and let me know. Is that kind of a season that either you've been in or maybe you are in that now where you are like, I see the things around me that need attention. I'm just unsure really where to start. What needs to be done first? What can wait? What should be, done on a regular basis? That decision fatigue wastes so much energy and it really holds us back. So if that is you, I see you and I totally get you because that is where I felt if we can remove that decision fatigue and allow people to be successful, there's so much joy in that. So all right, let's hop in here. So the first tip that I want to suggest, and this may not be a new one for you, but daily habits. Gosh, you guys, small wins every single day. You want to focus on simple, repeatable actions because they really are stepping stones and building blocks, right? And you probably, if you've glanced through the planner or maybe you used my planner last year, you can see how doing some of these tasks on each day really do, they do build on each other. And so I was explaining today when I did Instagram Live, right? Like the first time that you may need to clean your toilet, it may need a little more attention because it hasn't been cleaned on the regular. But what you're going to find is that when it comes up the next week for you to tidy the toilet, it literally will take you 5 minutes because you definitely are inputting the time in really small little pieces, but those really help keep your home in a state of clean. So you really could have somebody show up at your door and you're not totally embarrassed and you are prepared. So daily habits prevent that binge cleaning. Are you a past binge cleaner? I am a past binge cleaner where I would literally clean for 6 or 8 hours a day. You would get to the end of the day, you'd be completely exhausted, and then your house it would be pristine for like 12 hours, right? And then it would start to get messy. And unless you are implementing those daily habits, you're kind of back to where you started before you exerted all of that energy. So we really want to avoid that. So the tasks that you see on the planner, make it super easy for you to do these daily habits, right? And then I've even broken it down to other things that you don't necessarily have to do every day, but I rotate through those tasks to make it super easy for you. So it isn't about perfection. It's about creating these rhythms and habits that make homemaking sustainable, right? You want sustainability. You don't want to be burned out. Who wants to be burned out? I don't want to be burned out. I want to wake up in the morning and be encouraged and inspired and know that I'm going to have success in my day, right? We all want that kind of satisfaction. So just know, less exhaustion. You're going to have more energy when you implement doing these little bits of tasks all through the day instead of throwing all of your energy out. It's kind of like, what do they say? Running a marathon. You kind of just do it at a steady pace versus if you're a sprinter, right? You're like always running fast and then out of breath and then you have to recoup, right? So running a marathon, you're just kind of going along and everything is in little bits and pieces. So that is your first tip. Really focusing on daily action will pay off in a big way. So the second one, don't do it alone. Really, I feel like this is kind of one of the missing pieces. I know for me, it was a missing piece for many years because I felt like I was doing my kids a favor by not including them in our household responsibilities. But I want to remind you, you are not meant to do it all. You are the homemaker, which in another term is home manager. So you are meant, that your role is to manage things. So it doesn't mean you do it all, right? If you go down to your local, hardware store, there's a manager of that store, but he's not mixing the paint and restocking all the nuts and bolts and, dealing with repairs for lawnmowers. He's not doing all of that. He has delegated people that are in those areas to complete those tasks, right? So think about your role as a manager and who do you have on your staff that can help out? I shared in my Instagram live today about our kids helping and about age appropriate chores. Our kids can help. You would be amazed at how young you can have little ones help out. I would say between 2 and 3, simplest things. One of the most favorite tasks on the household planner is restocking toilet paper, right? Like a 2-year-old can help you do that. And they find so much fun and satisfaction in being able to help out in that way. So kind of use your creativity. And when you start at that point with them, right, it may take you longer to do some of those tasks, but you are training them, which really pays off in the long run. They take ownership, they take pride, they love to be part of that connection and that community feel within your family. So I love other simple tasks, putting the toys away, wiping the table. I love that I use a plant-based cleaner. So I can have, my granddaughter who's 4 use the sprayer and a rag and wipe things down, and it's okay. There's nothing that's going to harm her, and she loves having that responsibility. So think outside the box a little bit on what you could do. So remember, we are raising future adults, which some kind can be, you can kind of be like, oh man, right. Am I really going to be ready to launch them? You are. And when you uh, invest in your kids in this way, it's a huge deal. So, and don't forget your spouse. I just was messaging with somebody who said their spouse loves dusting and I think it was mopping floors. I can't remember exactly, and so what a great opportunity to, ask your other people in your family, what are some things that maybe you enjoy doing that you would want to help out with? And then you can, assign those things or they can just volunteer, whatever that looks like in your family, really use that to your advantage because you are not meant to do it all. So, okay, so that was the first two. Let's move on to the third. Stacking habits for maximum efficiency. So small habits compound into big results. I kind of already touched on this, right? And you can see how I gave the example of cleaning the toilet, how when you do things consistently, it really alleviates the time that you are having to put in with things. But let's kind of dig in a little bit deeper with this habit stacking. You can build momentum through small additions in your day. So what does habit stacking mean? Maybe this is a new concept for you. Maybe it's not. So if you are familiar with habit stacking, you can help me out here in just a minute. So habit stacking is where you pair one habit with another. So, for example, um, for me, I get up in the morning and before I have my cup of coffee, I have a 16-ounce glass of water. And then while my coffee is brewing, yes, atomic habits, you have it. I do 10 to 20 squats just while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. It's something I really don't even think about anymore. I just automatically do it. So a few other ones are you could wipe the counters after you've loaded the dishwasher in the evening. That's just a habit stack right there. You could fluff pillows or fold blankets as you're kind of walking around the living room in the evening or even sporadically, during the day. Just anytime you can do that, right? You can start a load of laundry before breakfast. So that's another key one in my daily tasks. I've said, for most families, doing one load of laundry a day. Some of you I know have said, we need more than one load a day because our family is so large. But so kudos. Yes, you can do that. But if you are doing one load of laundry a day and you do it from start to finish, it's so much easier to keep up. You're not going to end up with that laundry pile on your bed or your sofa, right? So do it all the way through. So if you start your laundry before breakfast, then that's a habit stack. So yes, you like to load your dishwasher when you're waiting for your microwave to cook something. See? That's amazing. You could do the same thing when you're waiting for, lunch to heat up. What could you do while you're just kind of waiting? What is something we tend to do? We tend to do this, right? And so I would just encourage you. I love to scroll my phone too, but if we can change our mindset a little bit and think of like, okay, what could I be doing here, right? This is where it's great to have a list of tasks where maybe when you have 2 to 5 minutes where something else is happening, you can look and see what could I do that would really propel me forward for the day during this window of time, right? So these small things really do add up, and you will find yourself at the end of the day being like, oh, it feels so good because you know that you have been successful. So I love habit stacking for so many areas of my life. And yes, I can't remember. Let me scroll up here. It was uh, Alejandra that said there is a book. It's called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read that book, I would encourage you to read it, check it out from the library, get it on audiobook. It's great, just to kind of see how this can really impact your life in the positive way, and what other areas that you could actually build some habits in. So Sharon, yeah, it's a great book. So I forgot to mention that at the beginning, I didn't pay attention to my notes, but stick around to the end because I'm going to do a few giveaways for you that are here live as well. So, okay. The fourth, time saving things. I have services in my note, but some of them are services and some are not. So this is kind of a concept of working smarter, not harder. And I talked about this in my last masterclass a little bit, but I wanted to come back to it and talk about it again because there are often ways that we can actually save time, but we may be apprehensive to try new things, or it may seem strange, or maybe it seems like it doesn't really make that big of a difference, but I want to explain how it can make a difference. So, for example, how you can use services like Amazon Subscribe and Save, grocery pickup, or grocery delivery to save you hours during the week, right? So if anybody uses either of these here, comment how much you are so uh, uh, oh, sorry. There, I didn't get the next slide going for you guys. How that has helped you in your days, because this has helped me tremendously. And it doesn't mean I spend a lot more money, okay? So we have to be smart with our budgets, right? I still am economical and I am frugal, but there are things that you can do to save. So for example, Amazon Subscribe and Save, we use every single month. We have different things on our subscribe to save, things that we use on a regular basis, things that are not more expensive when we purchase them on Amazon versus if we purchase them locally. Um, and it saves me brain, does that decision fatigue, that brain space of like, what do I need, right? It saves me time that I'm not running out to get something. I know that it's going to be delivered. We will have it on hand. I won't run out, right? So for me, Amazon Subscribe and Save is such a gift. And so that is just one example. Some of you here are mentioning grocery pickup or grocery delivery. So I'm not even going to touch on meal planning and how grocery delivery or pickup can be an incredible time saver. So maybe that will be a separate kind of masterclass we can dive into. But if you are not meal planning and filling in this little section here on your planner for what's for dinner for the week, you are going to be scrambling and wasting that brain energy every single day, somewhere between 10 and 3 or 4 o'clock, right? When the panic sets, I don't even know what's for dinner, right? And then do I have the ingredients? All of that. So stressful, friends. So if you can set aside a little time, think about the week ahead. What are you going to have for dinner? Check the ingredients you have on hand. Get online or, on your phone app and put in your grocery order for delivery or pickup instead of going and having to run into the store and shop and, and find the things that you need and then check out, and all of that wastes a bunch of time. Now, if you have time and that's something you truly enjoy, budget that in your week. I myself, I don't really enjoy it, so I can let that go. There are many other things that I would rather do to my, have for my time. So Melissa, what are some of the subscribe and save items? You know what? This is a good one. So I have a lot of supplements, I'm trying to think of our order this one. I have a subscribe and save highlight. So I kind of have put a few things in there, but I think I should probably do that every month and just kind of share what we are purchasing on our Amazon subscribe to save. So we do get dog food, we get dog treats. I get some supplements that we have. My son has a favorite granola, and it's actually cheaper on Amazon than even at Walmart. So I use Amazon, but then I also use Azure Standard. I've talked a little bit about them. They are a monthly grocery drop. So I actually go to pick up a drop, but I buy in bulk from that and it saves me money and it saves me time. So I just was so excited because I got a box of, I think there was 12 pounds of immaculate chicken breast, if you can call chicken breast immaculate, but literally such good chicken breast. The cost was less than what I would pay at the grocery store. And now I have that in my freezer. And so now I'm going to meal plan around having those. So it's just such a time saver. So it's not about being lazy. It's about creating space for what matters. So if going to the grocery store matters and you love that, like I said, by all means. But I would say the majority of us, we don't find that enjoyable. And I would rather be doing something else, right? So just think about that. What are the ways that you can work smarter instead of harder? So kids, toothbrush heads, toothpaste. I love this. Yeah, if you guys are using subscribe to say, put in the comments here what items that you do. So maybe I'll highlight this over the next week of some things that I do and put together a list and share it in my stories because you would be amazed at what items that you can grab and then they aren't more expensive. Like I said, I want you to be frugal. So yes, Amy, I am also. I don't have to buy a lot of things that I normally would from a drugstore because I have Young Living and a lot of the things that we use on a regular basis for our health and wellness and personal care products come from there. So yes, those things that arrive at my doorstep, they're a beautiful thing. So, all right, let's move on to the fifth one. Who deals with clutter? This is a hot topic. I feel like, man, you know what? If somebody had the main issue for clutter, they would be a bajillionaire. But it seems like we always get hung up on certain areas for clutter, right? And especially, right, the after Christmas clutter, it's like, oh man. So, and I love it. Everybody's jumping into starting decluttering challenges on January 1st. And just so you guys know, I have a decluttering challenge, but it starts in February. I feel like it's a little too much going on in January to really focus on that. So, but V, your clutter is crazy. Yes. So let's talk about this because if you know part of my story, we've moved 8 times in the last 7 years. We lived in an Airstream for 9 months, three of us and two dogs in a 30-foot Airstream. We have, you know, unloaded a lot of things over the year, purged and really I call myself a loveliest. I'm not a minimalist, I'm a loveliest. The things that I still have and I keep and I treasure that you see around my home are things that truly have deep meaning for me. And so it's really important, I think, to kind of think of your home and your space in that way, right? You want the things that surround you to have meaning, right? So a place for everything. So the problem with clutter often is that you don't have a place and then it's out and then it affects our nervous system. If you're like me, I mean, I am very sensitive to things around me and things piled up on surfaces. That really bothers me. So having a place for everything. I know I just recently had reorganized the cabinet where I keep my granddaughter's toys. And if you are one that struggles with getting rid of things, and I know when our kids are involved, it's really hard. And I'll chat on that in just a second. But think about what is it about spaces in your home that produces clutter? Is it that the toys don't have a place to go at the end of the day? Maybe a bin isn't big enough or you don't have a place for your blankets to go, or there's mail piled up on the counter because you don't have a place to tuck it away when, you might not have time to deal with that mail as it comes in. These are the things that I think are really important to think about. So, when you have a place for things, it really, really helps. So I have bins in this cabinet where my granddaughter has her toys, and it has saved the day because now she's into Barbies. We have lots of sizes of Barbies. We have Barbie clothes. We have Barbie shoes. We have Barbie accessories. We have all the Barbie things. But here's the beautiful thing. I have two bins and it fits in there. If it doesn't fit in there, it's not going to be staying around. So I think if you can gently think about having space, especially right now, right? As we are, just in this period of probably getting a lot more things into our home, means we have to get some things out of our home, right? Or else you just keep putting it in and putting it in and it overflows. I had this conversation with my 15-year-old. I said, you got some things for Christmas. So now we have to think about what needs to come out. You can't just keep stuffing things in your room, right? And not having things move on to another home or, donated, whatever that looks like. So what has worked really well for decluttering for my son, but also for me, is we can tend to get overwhelmed when we want to take on too large of a space. So for my son, he, just because of his background, he tends to want to hold on to everything. Maybe that's all kids now, but he's very much like that. He doesn't want to get rid of anything. And so I take small areas and we work on those small areas. For example, a few weeks back, I said, okay, today we are going to tackle under your bed and we are going to go through those items. And so we did. And then what I did, I waited about a week and then we went through another area where he had some cubbies. I'm like, okay, we're going to tackle two cubbies today and go through that and whatever. So if you can gently do this, and that may be the way that you do that for yourself as well as you kind of go through. So stay tuned because in February we will go through 28 days to a simplified home and just kind of going through that. But for right now, make sure that you have a space for the things that drive you crazy when you're looking around. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have, a basket to put your blankets in and having them laying all out drives you crazy, you need to grab a basket and have a space for them because you really do want to have, you know, a, a, a rhythm or a routine for cleaning up areas so that things look really neat and tidy. It just helps, I think, everybody feel a sense of security in that. So, all right. It's hard. Oh, I'm missing some of the chat here. You guys are so good. I love this. You've moved 17 times in 34 years. Holy cow. You have had to downsize your clutter each move, but you still have so much. Oh my word. Yes. I can only imagine. That was, I mean, we moved quite a bit, but every time I found it really interesting. I had to ask myself, do I really want to pack this up and store it and then unpack it again? And there were many things that it was time just to let go. And sometimes that can be more difficult than others for sure. So anyway, I feel like I'm off my topic here. So we're talking about clutter and just having a spot for everything, right? And so just know that that is a process. It's always a process. You are never going to get to that place where everything is like perfect, right? Because we are consumers and we bring things in and then we just kind of have to have that revolving door. So all right, so those are the 5 tidy home secrets. So now I kind of have been teasing and chatting about the weekly household planner. Guys, this planner has been a game changer for so many homemakers. And so I think I should really look to see. I can't remember. I think this is the ninth year that I've had the planner, and this year it is so beautiful because it did get an amazing facelift. It's now 2 pages for the full week here, and it's so amazing. I'm not going to spend a ton of time walking you through it because I have other resources that share, and I know many of you already have it. Um, Melissa, I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but what I want to say is that it will reduce the mental fatigue when it comes to your home and caring for your home because it provides some daily structure, but it allows flexibility. So you can choose what you can do. I think oftentimes we tend to look at a list and immediately, right, become overwhelmed. Okay. That's a mindset shift. We have to be thinking, okay, I'm going to look at this list, right? Whichever time, whichever, list you're looking at, just the daily habits or what needs to, have attention today. And then think, what can I do today? I've got 5 minutes. I've got 10 minutes. I've got 20 minutes. What can I do? And then tackle something, right? I gave some suggestions today that just start on these daily tasks here. And then as you build that muscle, then move on to some of the others because the worst thing that we can do is keep saying to our mind, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm looking at this. Oh, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a feeling. And so when we can feed our mind with other words like, oh, this is good. I have a list. What can I do? Rather than looking at this and thinking, oh my gosh, if I don't do all of these things, then I'm a failure or I suck, right? That's what our brain wants to tell us all the time. And we need to speak nicer to ourselves, right? So, yes, Lindsay, what can I do? It feels so much better. So, and then these become habits. When you are, have this as a guide, it's just such a relief to be able to know that you don't have to think about everything up here, right? That for me was so overloading. And that stressed me out more than looking at a list, right? Brooke says, I started with the planner 2 days ago. It's been so helpful. Oh, that makes me so happy. And Karen, yes, you said oops, sorry, hang on. My screen. It's been amazing what can be done in just 10 minutes. I have set a timer for just that long to see how much you could get done. I love it. Yes, use a timer if you want, because those are great tools. There is no shame in that. Christine, the planner significantly reduced my stress. Having a plan, having options. Yes, look at it as having options. You don't have to do everything on that list. You have options. You get to choose what it is, right? That you do. So, okay, let's see. I don't want to miss. You guys are giving such great feedback here. I don't want to miss. So, Christine, you felt overwhelmed a little bit in the early December. So I started by just doing one thing on the list per day and then easily grew to completing the daily list. See, you guys are encouraging each other. And I will say, I don't finish everything on the list every day either, friends. And that's the beautiful thing because it's a guide. It is not meant to be an all or nothing. It truly isn't. And so we really need to shift that thinking that we have to be an all or nothing. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I totally get that thinking. And maybe, one day when you do actually complete everything on that daily list, you can really celebrate yourself, sister, right? And if you have help from others in your family, it's a group effort and you guys can all celebrate together. So it is a great way to think. So if you don't have a copy of the planner, we'll put the link here in the chat. If you're watching this as a recording, we will have a spot where you'll be able to purchase the planner as well. Just a side note, you purchase the PDF from me. And then in your purchase receipt, you will have a link to a printer that I've collaborated with. So just with a couple clicks, you can purchase this printed bound copy. It's around $20 and about, I think, $6 for shipping. And then you'll get this beautiful printed and bound copy delivered to your door, and you'll be able to start using that. But in the meantime, because you get the PDF immediately, you can print out the first couple weeks and then just get started. And so it makes it an easy way to serve your family in that way. So the other thing we wanted to chat tonight, or what I really wanted to kind of talk about, oh, here, I forgot this slide. I see, you are my guinea pigs. The first time that I've used slides, I'm forgetting to scroll through the slides. So B, can you modify the file to fit your needs? Yes. So when you get the PDF, you are able to edit these fields. So for example, let's just say on Saturdays, it says wash and disinfect pet bowls. Maybe you don't have a pet. You can go through and remove that. And maybe you have something else that you would want to add to that, Saturday task instead. You could add that there, or you could just remove it and it would just be blank. So that is a beautiful thing. You can edit it. If you have a Mac, you can go through and use your preview and you can edit that way. And then you also can use the Adobe Acrobat, the free version, and edit as well. I know, Amy, I remember you said you had used a whole day to customize this to fit your needs for your family. And it's like, you are so happy. I love that. So Alan, oh, I would love to have you. I've had people ask about using the digital file on your tablet. And so I would be curious. So you download that and as the PDF, and then are you able to like check it and that so forth? I would love for you to explain a little bit because I personally have not used it that way, but so many people have said that they have and I'm just not super familiar. So you are more techie than me. I love it. So yeah, if you want to share a little bit more, I would love that. So, okay. So that's a little bit about the planner. So now we're going to talk about the Reflect and Renew guide. So if you've purchased a planner, you had the opportunity to grab this for a reduced price of $7. And so I want to go through this because if you are not a New Year's resolution person, you are going to love this. And if you are a New Year's resolution person, you might find that this is really helpful for you to kind of go through the year and have little check-ins and kind of refresh these goals that you have and habits and things that you want to implement through the year. So the Reflect and Renew guide was so fun to put together. But what I love to really highlight is that you are going to take a little time and you are going to really reflect on 2024. And I think oftentimes we don't take the time to reflect. We just kind of move ahead and we don't celebrate the things that we actually did accomplish. We don't reflect on what really worked, maybe, and what didn't work very well. We are kind of into this movement or motion of just always just keep going. But you really don't make really good progress unless you take time to evaluate. And that's what this guide is going to do. So there are some questions here in several different areas. I have taken the time just to kind of put the areas that I thought were relevant and important, which are personal, self-care, oops, sorry, homemaking intentions, health and well-being, family relationships, and your faith and spiritual intentions. And just you can take some time and answer these questions. What worked? What were your biggest accomplishments this year? In what ways did you grow as a person? Do not think these questions are silly or not important because, friends, they are. And so when you take the time to reflect, then you really can gauge what has been happening for you over the year. What can you celebrate maybe what stands out as an area that you really want to work on. And then I take you right into setting your intentions for 2025. Just walk you through what is there a skill or interest that you want to explore? What personal qualities or habits do you want to cultivate this year? So I suggest, maybe you can get up early in the morning or stay up late, at night, wherever you can carve out a little bit of time, an hour and a half or 2 hours, and go through this. Maybe not in one sitting. Maybe you do part of it and then you do another part. Or maybe you can, go to your favorite coffee shop for a couple hours and, and spend the time going through that. That's what this is meant. It is an exercise for you to really be able to evaluate. But here is the thing that really makes this different. You have a companion for the whole year. So you will have these monthly intentions and you will have your month. And so this will be your first one would be for January, and you will fill in this area. And here are the things that you want to work on. Here is your 3 gratitude statements that you can come up with. And then go through your month, kind of track the things that are important. Are you meeting some of the goals and the intentions that you had? And then near the end of the month, you can go ahead and then you get to evaluate yourself. How did the month go? And then you have monthly highlights and you'll answer questions about January right here. So then you'll know, okay, is there things that need to shift? Am I doing really good in this area? Maybe I need to hold back on one of these goals and focus on something else. And then you can go through and you will do this again because you'll have a monthly intention and another one for each month of the year. So you can see how you're not just setting this one-time New Year's resolution, right? You are constantly going through and evaluating the things that, went well, maybe things that didn't, just kind of shifting things and kind of having a fresh start. You are never like, for me, I felt like I said at the beginning in New Year's resolutions, it's like within a few weeks, everything I had to throw out most of the things that I wanted to do because I fell behind and I didn't feel like I could catch up. This way is totally different because you can actually evaluate, kind of move things around, and then go ahead and do this, all throughout the year and feel successful. So, yes, it's a subtle course correction, right? Oh my goodness, you guys. Yes. So, all right. So if you didn't grab that reflect and renew guide when you grabbed your planner, you might be kind of like, oh, I think I want it now. So know that that is there. I know I sent an email out. If you did purchase your planner, I gave you a second opportunity to purchase it. So hopefully you did do that. So, all right. I think I have covered what I wanted to cover, which was the 5 secrets to a tidy home, and then just talking about how to reflect and use this guide in order to move you forward and have progress all through the year, not just at the beginning of the year when we tend to just focus on new habits, but really all through the year you'll have. So it is really simple to grab the planner, print out the first couple weeks. You can, like I said, get it printed and it will be delivered to your door. You can actually get the Reflect and Renew guide printed from the printer as well. They do a beautiful job. So then it's all ready and in order for you to do that. You could print out the couple of the pages to get you started before, the new year, as well as if you're waiting for that. So what I love is being able to share these tools with you, but not just leave you hanging, right? I am here every step of the way. You know where to find me. I am going to be your biggest cheerleader because, like I said at the beginning, my heart is to serve homemakers. Your role in the home, you have the ability to change generations. And once you truly realize that, friends, you will light up, okay? Because you will not even know the generations 2, 3, 4 down the road that you will impact because of how you served your family in your home and what that looked like. It's just beyond words sometimes. So, oh, you're so sweet. Um, a preview of the planner. I have lots of resources with a preview. If you go to my Instagram, there is a highlight that's called Planner. There is some information in there. There are screenshots of pages. There's a little video walkthrough. If that doesn't give you enough information, Hannah, just message me and I have a longer walkthrough video for the planner on YouTube and you can take a look at it there. So okay, so I do have a couple giveaways for those that are still here. Let me see. Oh, here, see, here I am, you guys. I'm not a very good slide person. Oh, good grief. Anyway, have a couple giveaways. The first giveaway and hopefully one of the gals from my team that is on here, I would love to give away one of my Confident Mom aprons. You may have seen the, I wear one, and I had the aprons made by a local seamstress, and we've had a couple apron drops, and all the proceeds are donated to different organizations. But I have one I would love to donate. So if you want to be entered in to win one of the aprons, just go ahead and put apron, and then we will pick somebody here from the comments in just a minute. And then I also perfect, she said. And then I also have 2 copies of this Reflect and Renew guide. So if you did not get one of these, if you haven't ordered your planner or you ordered your planner and maybe you didn't grab this, I would love to send one of these out to 2 of you. So if you are interested in this, just put in the comment section Renew, and we will draw 2 names from that. So, and then we are done with my presentation. You guys are so great. If you have a question here, I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you have any suggestions or feedback. I know you guys had lots of, I love the engagement that you guys, yes, my assistant, she's like, just talk a little longer so I have time to pick winners. Yes, we are going to be talking here for a minute, you guys. So, but you guys have all entered, so that's good. So I would love to know, just really briefly, if you want to put in the comment here, oh, I'll answer Christine, just a second. I will answer that. But what what have you found to be the most encouraging thing in the last couple weeks, I would say, in your homemaking journey? Because something that may resonate with you may resonate with somebody else that is here. So maybe you have a tip that's been helpful for you, or just something that's encouraged you. I would love to have you share in the comment. Amy, I canceled my cleaning service. Oh, girl, how does that feel? Because I bet you that I mean, I know for me, I feel like, oh man, that was a little scary. But then when I started not having to write that check, that was powerful for sure. So, meal planning on Sundays. Yes, Miriam. Yes. That that is a big one. If you are not meal planning, it will really reduce the stress in your life, and it honestly will save your family a lot of money, especially if you're resorting to fast food or takeout, or kind of not making the best choices, right, for our family. So yes, meal planning on Sundays. I love it. B, realizing I wasn't made to do it all, and delegation is important. Yes, it's so freeing. And then realizing that it's such a powerful way that we can engage our entire family in the process, right? They all live under that roof. And when we can get everybody doing things together, it does make a difference. Yeah. Realizing that it doesn't have to get all done on time, right? There is no on time, right? I love that. Yes, Amy, a relief not to pay. Oh my goodness, yes. So, Kit, recognizing and living it out that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Oh man, it's taken me almost 58 years to kind of realize that, right? Oh my goodness. Myrna, I love this 2 minute rule. Has to be, it's so helpful. If I can get it done in 2 minutes, do it now. Oh my gosh, this is so good, you guys. All of these are so amazing. The Renew and Reflect guide, as well as taking the time out of my day to color by number books. Oh my gosh, I love that. See, finding a hobby, something that brings us joy, that is good, right? We have to have those little pieces of our day. Christine, I cleaned the outside of my oven, pulled it off, and I've never in my life done that. It was way easier than I ever expected. Your demos on Instagram help so much. Oh, yes. Well, get ready because I am planning to do some more. And I'm even toying with the idea of doing some longer tutorials and putting them on YouTube. So, yeah. I dumped the unfolded laundry on my bed, so I have to fold it if I want to go to sleep at night, Brooke. I love that. Oh, yes. Gosh, so good. All right. Anyone have tips for getting organized with ADD? You're always working against yourself. My tip would be to pick one small area at a time. And I think if you join us in February for the 28 Days to a Simplified Home, I mean, there's some of the days where it's just pick one, the junk drawer, and you just do that. And just like, I can't remember now who it was that said, they use a timer. I think a timer is going to be your friend, right? Set your timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then just have that time that you devote to whatever. I think our brains in that capacity of wanting to always, get outside the thing and get us off track. If we can just take a little small focus of time, those work much better. So I would say try that. So when my younger kids come into the kitchen and want to help bake, I'm trying to say yes. Oh, it can take longer. You are so right. Yes. Good for you. Oh, all right. Perfect. You guys, I love all these tips. Awesome. All right. We have three winners. Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead and announce our winners, and then this will be so fun.
Okay, so I'll announce the winners, and then maybe Susan, if you want to stop the recording, then I'll just make sure that I get
Yeah.
people to message me their email. Okay, so drum roll for the apron, we have Jessica Turner.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jessica. You can, if you see me in the chat, you can just send me your email, or I'll message you in a minute. And then you had two renew
Yes.
and reflect guides. Okay. One is for Hannah, and the other is for Michelle Freeman. So congratulations.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. That's so helpful. I didn't have to do that. I can monitor the chat because you guys were so good with all of these suggestions. So awesome. Okay. I am going to go ahead and end the recording. So, oh dear. Sometime, there we go.